right, Shalom class.
Shalom.
Good Sabbath. Get your pens and papers out. Today's topic is going to be Lazarus and Abraham's bosom. Okay? We're going to go into, just touch on a few things about the Abraham's bosom, because when you go into Luke the 16th chapter, when it speaks about the Abraham bosom, now a lot of the belief system out there is saying that this is a real life situation with Lazarus and the rich man. Okay, but I'm looking at it as a parable. You know, we're going to go into that because it speaks about Abraham bosom, the righteous on one side, and Abraham bosom. Then you have a gulf separating the wicked, and the wicked is being tortured and burned and so forth. Now, question: when you die, are you burning the moment that you die? When you put in the ground, do you automatically go to what they call hell, and are you burning?
No.
So when will the wicked burn? At the end of this age, the end of the world, when Yahweh shall gather everybody together, then he's going to judge. And he's going to let the wicked know why you're going into this fire, to the lake of fire. He's going to let them know why you left out. You understand? Because there have to be a fair judgment, right? So if people are dying and they're going to what they say hell, they're burning now, did they have a judgment? No. So this, to me, reads like a parable. Okay, and different schools of thoughts would take this and use it as there's a hell. The rich man is looking up and communicating with Lazarus. But if the rich man is burning, I mean, he got a tongue, he can talk, he got eyes, he got his flesh, he ain't really burnt up. So that shows you that this is a parable. And then Lazarus, supposed to be dead, he communicating with him. Okay, the rich man said, if he can put some water on the tip of his finger and put it on my soul, he got a tongue in the fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a parable. Okay, but now, how many Lazarus are mentioned in the Bible? By show of hands. How many Lazarus? What books are they in? I just mentioned one book. I mentioned Luke 16. And it's one in John. So there's a Lazarus that Yahushua risen from the dead, and then there's a Lazarus that in Luke the 16th chapter. Okay, because reading about Lazarus, or some schools of thought say that this actually happened. Rich man and Lazarus is a real life story, because they said that Yahushua used the man's name. Usually in a parable, names are not mentioned. It reads a certain man, a rich man, a servant, but Yahushua used an actual name this time. So they said this has to be real. This is not a parable, because all parables are a certain this or certain that. But that's not necessarily true. Okay, because Lazarus, in the Hebrew, his name is Allah-Izah, which is the Eleazar, which means God is my help, or God has help. Right. A-H-L-A-I-Z-A-R. And when you read in the scriptures, it's Eleazar, okay, which is God has help, or God is my help. Okay, there was many times that this name Lazarus was used in certain stories and so forth. You understand? Back in ancient, all right? Back in ancient days, okay? So this is a parable. Now, let's go to the book of John. And let's go to the 11th chapter. And we're going to start from the first verse. We're going to read about the Lazarus that Yahushua loved, the Lazarus that he risen up from the dead. Okay? When you get it, call out and read it.
John chapter 11 verse 1.
Come on.
Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha.
Go ahead.
It was that Mary which anointed the Most High with anointment, or Slakia, which anointed Yahushua with anointment, and wiped his feet with her head, whose brother Lazarus was sick.
Right. Go ahead, third verse.
Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick.
So Lazarus was sick. So Lazarus' sisters sent like messengers. Look, I need y'all to go out and find Yahushua. You know, he's the only one that can, heal him. You know, because Lazarus is sick unto death. Okay, sent the messengers. They went looking, and when we read on, eventually they found it. Read on, read the fourth verse.
Verse 4. When Yahushua heard that, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of Yahweh, that the Son of the Most High might be glorified thereby.
So when Yahushua heard that Lazarus was sick, he said, this sickness is not going to end in death. That's what he said, unto death. It's not going to end in death. He's going to die, but he's going to be brought back. And the scriptures say, it said, but for the glory of the Most High. So the glory is to what? To accurately reveal and portray. So Yahushua is saying, look, I'm going to accurately reveal and portray what I'm going to do. And this miracle right here was one of Yahushua's greatest signs of his messiahship, bringing Lazarus back. Because when we read on, Yahushua didn't come as soon as he was told Lazarus is sick. So he waited 2 days. He said, look, I'm not going right away. So we look at this, Yahushua was waiting until he died so he can perform that glorious miracle. You understand? So it was glorious because the time that he waited. Because when Yahushua got there, they said Lazarus has already been dead for 4 days. He was beginning to stink. Now back in ancient Israel was known like you died, your little soul, your soul or what have you, hangs around for a couple of days. You understand? So now they looking at, the fourth day? Whoa, now there's something going on here. So they knew 1 or 2 days. So the miracle had to be done when the body is decaying, smelling, and so forth. Because it would prove to the Pharisees and the Sadducees that, this came from the Most High. Now, if Yahushua had went 1 or 2 days, okay, hey, we can go get, the soothsayers to do that. But when the body is decaying and smelling, they had to admit, this is coming from the Heavenly Father right here. He did this not by the devil, not by Baal, Beelzebub, like they tried to say. This is coming direct from the Most High. So now we got to get rid of this guy, because the Romans is going to come and take us and our nation. Now, if you read this miracle, led up to Yahushua's crucifixion. It led up to his death. Because right after that, they said, we got to get rid of this dude. And we're going to read scriptures where they say, we got to get rid of Lazarus too. Ain't there some poor Lazarus, they want to kill him again. They said, we got to get rid of this dude too, because he's living proof that Yahushua's power through the Most High brought him back. We got to get rid of both of these dudes. You understand? So, continue to read. So, in the 4th verse, it said this sickness is not going to end in death, because there's a plan. And it said, but for the glory of the Most High, that the Son of the Most High might be glorified thereby. See, the Most High don't do things, for our convenience. When somebody's sick or die, we go into woo, and try to do our own thing, because that's how we are with our emotions. But the Most High has his plan. He don't do things because of how we feel. He do things how he wanted, because of how he feels. See, we have to play in his circle. We have to play in our circle, man. He don't have to get down in our circle. We have to get down with him. Okay, come on, read the 5th verse.
St. John chapter 11 verse 5. Now Yahushua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus.
This must have been a blessing there for you to be loved by the Savior. Your family, I mean, he walked down the street, shalom, and come over there, got that love for you. It make you feel good, man. The Messiah loves me. Okay, read on.
When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was.
See, he heard that he was sick, but still, Yahushua hung out 2 more days. So now when he finally got there, Lazarus has been, what, 4 days? You understand? So that he may have hung out a week.
Yeah.
So when the messenger got back, they asked the messengers, did y'all tell Yahushua? Yeah, I gave him the information. I told him. Well, he ain't here, but I delivered the message. You know, I did what you asked me to do.
Yeah.
So it said Yahushua abode 2 extra days. You know, some of us would be, you know, ripping and running and so forth. But look, Yahushua could have healed him where he was at. That's how much power he had in his words. That's how much power he had, you know, when he's making these moves. You understand? So he could have healed him there because this the centurion told him, said, look, you don't have to come to my house. Just say the word. Okay? See, and I know Lazarus, they had that faith, Martha and the sister, they had that faith. Just say the word and he can be healed there. But there was a game, there was a plan going on right here in operation. That Yahushua said, look, I'm going to just hold back, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to go perform this, and then there should be no doubts that it's coming from my Father. There should be no doubts that my Father and I will be glorified that day. Come on, read.
John chapter 11 verse 7. Then after that saith he to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again?
So his disciples have said, look, Master, you going to go back there and they want to kill you? You going back there? Come on, man. I mean, you all right now, so why you got to go back there? But listen to what Yahushua is going to tell him. Come on.
His disciples,
Ninth verse.
Yahushua answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. So
Yahushua said, look, man, I am the light. I don't fear anything.
Right.
I don't fear the Sadducees, no authorities. I don't fear, not spiritual or physical. The only authority that he feared was the Most High.
Right.
Okay. Because he created angels and all that. So he didn't even fear Satan. Because when you read Matthew's 4th chapter, he getting down with Satan, right? Satan trying to make him, bow down and work. He said, look, man, get up out of here. So Yahushua was like, I'm the light of this world. I am the light. I am the daytime.
Right.
I don't fear anything. Read on the 10th verse.
But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth because there is no light in him.
That's right. You in darkness. You walking in fear, doubts. And that only brings total destruction. And that goes for us in here. When we doubt, or when we have fear, knowing that we're dealing with truth, and knowing that what we represent when we get in them streets or when we get in the world, we represent truth. But if you have them doubts and that fear, Satan can slide anything in on you. Because you got maybe some of your family members, when you kind of tip back, you got to be alert at all times. When you kind of doze off into the little darkness right here, some of them maybe on YouTube too much or watching TV too much, some things you don't supposed to be dapping into. And then Satan slide up in there and then that doubt hit you. And then somebody might say, you ain't no Israelite. And then they start dangling with your mind. You like, let me get on the phone and call this brother and ask him about it. Or let me go in the book again. Let me re-examine this thing. See, because that darkness, you had stepped that foot into the darkness. You always got to stay in the daytime, in the light, because darkness, fear, and doubts. And when you have that, then it's a tendency that you go on into left field. Then you got to bounce back, or somebody got to help you bounce back to this world. A lot of brothers and sisters go through this. They go through it,
Right.
especially when they first come in the Word. You're not really seasoned, and then somebody throws some things at you. Now you got doubts. Now you want to question the scriptures now. Well, did Moses say? Well, read the book. He tell you what it said in the book.
Right.
Okay, go ahead and read.
Verse 11. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well.
They're getting simple. They're getting simple on it. You know, Yahushua said, look, man, Lazarus is asleep. They said, well, if he's sleeping, you know, he all right. He just resting up. Read on.
Howbeit Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep.
Right, read on.
Then said Yahushua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead.
So Yahushua had to come straight out with him. Look, man, Lazarus dead, man. He said, boy, look, Lazarus dead, man. You got that now, he's dead. That's all right, cool. Read on.
And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe.
Right.
Nevertheless, let us go unto him.
What verse was that now?
That was verse 15.
Read that again.
Verse 15. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him.
So Yahushua is saying, look, I'm glad that I wasn't there. For your sakes, though. See? For the intent that you might believe. So what Yahushua was going to do, he was going into the resurrection. See, so when the apostles, the disciples is with him and see that, they would believe and have, believe in that resurrection. That would strengthen them. So he said, well, I'm glad I'm not there, because I want to go and do these things, and I want y'all to see this.
Right.
And it would prove and give y'all hope in the resurrection.
Right.
When I raised Lazarus, okay, you better best believe that there's going to be a resurrection.
Right.
Now, question. Lazarus died and he was brought back. Now, there's people in the Old Testament that died. Remember the story? I'm going to paraphrase Elijah. When some men was carrying the dead body of a man, and I think an army was coming up on him, and they threw the body, and it wasn't Elisha's. Yeah, because Elijah was taken up. It was Elisha's grave. And the body touched the bones, and the man came back to life. And when Yahushua was put to death, people came out of the graves and they lived a whole life. But guess what? They had to die again. Because they hadn't met that transformation. They didn't get the glorified bodies. See, because when Lazarus died, it was he had to face that true death. Now he lived, but he had to face that true death, because if he didn't, at the last end, at the resurrection in the end time, he wouldn't get that body. You have to get that glorified body. See, so yeah, he had to die that second time, because he went on and he lived a life in that same corrupt body that he died in. See, Yahushua was just making that point. He didn't change him. See, because that change is going to come at the end when it says you shall be changed within a twinkling of an eye, and then we're going to have those glorified bodies. Because then we're going to rule with Yahushua for 1,000 years. Right? See, so you don't get that as soon as you die. And you're not going into the fire as soon as you die. All the dead people, the righteous and the wicked, where they at? They're in the ground. They're in the grave. Yahushua is going to call them from where? Abraham's bosom? He going to call them from the other side of the gulf in the fire? No, he going to call them where? From the grave. That's where they going to come from. In the grave. See, nobody's burning. Yet. Yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Hitler. Wickedness. All the wicked people, the mass murders and so forth, where they at? In their grave. Are they burning? You going to hell. You're going to burn for eternity. No, not now. Maybe resting better than you are. But in the last trump, at the end of this age, then that's where the judgment is going to be set. That's where the books is going to be opened. Everything that you have done, every thought, every idle word is going to be recorded in the books. It said books with an S, then it's a one particular book, which is the book of life. You hoped you up in there. Okay, go ahead and read.
Verse 16. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus,
I'll tell you what, go ahead.
unto his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him.
Check out Thomas. Yeah, we want to go and die with the brother. Read the 17th verse.
Then when Yahushua came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already.
Yeah, he was already in the grave 4 days. Yahushua hung out for another 2 days. So let's say a week. And the body was beginning to stink. And Yahushua brought him back. That was one of the greatest signs of his messiahship. Could no one dispute that, hey, that came from the Most High through this man right here. You can get mad at it, but you can't shut it down. You can not like it, but there's nothing you can do about it. You know, but have him arrested and false charges and have him put to death, but that's part of the plan too. Yahushua said, you didn't kill me because I didn't have power to stop that. I could have called legions. But it's for the will of my knucklehead brothers and sisters. That's us. Because we was wrong. Wicked, all wrong. Okay, from here let's go to read the 21st verse.
Verse 21. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of the Most High will give it to thee.
Go ahead and read.
Yahushua saith unto her, thy brother shall rise again.
Yahushua said, look, Lazarus is going to rise again. He wasn't talking about at that moment. He's talking about at the end. Because Martha is going to say that. Read on, 24th verse.
Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
So she knew that. I mean, this wasn't no secret.
Right.
I mean, today it's like we don't know anything about resurrection all of a sudden. Oh, you ain't coming back here. No, you're not going to be changed. Like we don't know that.
Right.
They knew it back then. They was up on it back then.
Yeah.
Because Yahushua said, your brother going to rise again. So she clicked in. Lord, I know. At the resurrection, at the last day, I know he's going to rise. So Yahushua is giving Lazarus a true pass. To get that true pass, man, that's something. See, we sit here, we gotta put that work in, and we gotta doubt. We gotta work on the faith. Our minds gotta be clean and everything. We gotta work for this thing, man. We gotta work. We gotta work for the crowns. We gotta work to face that second death. We gotta put it in. But Yahushua said Lazarus is gonna rise again. Now Yahushua gave that to certain brothers and sisters in the scriptures that yeah, you're going to be in the kingdom. You're going to be in the kingdom with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He putting that out there.
Yeah.
Just like he told it, that thief, the thief that was on the cross crucified with him. He said, Lord, remember me when you get into your kingdom. Yahushua said, today you're going to be with me in paradise. He wasn't talking about at that moment today. He told, see, the thief got to go through the resurrection. He got to come back. And then what Yahushua was saying, look, it's a possibility, or you can get a shot at being in that future kingdom.
Yes.
See, because I think I taught a class on that before, and we went over the words that Yahushua was speaking. When you read the words, it sounds like he's saying, today you're going to be with me. But Yahushua said, let me say this to you today. In the future, you're going to be with me in paradise. Okay, not at that particular time. You understand? So I'm going to just say, why would the thief be with Yahushua at that particular time and he just skip over King David and Moses and the rest of the brothers? Then they did far right than he did. You understand? So you read it, Yahushua said, yeah, let me tell you this today. In the future, you're going to be with me. See? Okay, where we at?
Verse verse 25.
Read on.
Verse 25. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die.
Okay.
Believest thou this?
Right, let's go to the 39th verse.
Verse 39. Yahushua said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days.
Yahushua knows that that's what he wanted.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to perform this to show that, look, this is the Most High. This is my Father. Read on.
Yahushua saith unto her, Said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of the Most High?
See, if you believe, you're going to see what? The glory of the Most High. You're going to see me what? Accurately portray and reveal and do this thing. You're going to see me accurately do this. Accurately raise him up. No doubts. Perfection. Read on.
Verse 41. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me.
Come on.
And I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me.
See, that's why this is taking place. So they can believe that you sent me. See, let me do this thing that they can believe. Read on.
And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come
He
forth.
said, Lazarus, come forth. He had to call his name. If he had said, come forth, then all other dead probably would have came. So he said, Lazarus, come forth. Called him by name. Might have been somebody else, so they'll start coming forth. No, I want Lazarus. Lazarus, come forth. This is all I'm calling. The rest of you are going to come at the end time. I want him right now. I'm trying to prove a point. Now, Lazarus, come forth. Read on.
Verse 44. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua said unto them, Loose him and let him go.
Man, Lazarus must have been, man, his mind must have been baffled, boy. What the hell? Oh, man. Yeah, he had his mind, he had to work his way into this thing, man. Whoa. Yeah. And you don't think that after he was risen, that he didn't go out and glorify Yahushua and the Most High? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah. He went to the Pharisees. He went to all the haters. Look, man, I'm living proof. Man, when he called me forward, I'm like, man, I was gone, brother. When he brought me back, I was gone. I was on the other side, man. I know what it is. Oh, Lazarus, get out of here. We're going to kill you too. You're going to die again. But we're going to kill Yahushua first, so when we kill you, he won't be there to bring you back. Yep, so the first time Yahushua, 2 days. I'm not going to, because Yahushua always, his mind is always thinking on a strategic level. Everything that he do is for a reason. It was a reason why. He hung out for 2 days. It was a reason why he went late. Always a strategic plan with him throughout the whole scriptures. There's nothing that he does that just straight out. How he do things make you think. They're all military strategic moves. He wasn't just the Jesus I love you. He was military mindset and strategic master. You understand? Master of all chess games. Right. Read on.
John chapter 11, verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him.
See, many of them, seeing what Yahushua did, they took notice. They believed. Read on.
But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done.
These old haters and snitches, you know, trying to set him up. You know, the ones that was envy, some BS in that though, man. I don't know. Y'all did say that he cast him out by Beelzebub. I don't know, man. I just don't. Need to run his mouth, just run. Telling him, seen everything, and now you're going to the chief priest. Yeah, man, that was out here. Yeah, he got Lazarus over there, everything. Just running, telling everything. So let's go to John the 12th chapter. John the 12th chapter, first verse.
John chapter 12, verse 1. Then Yahushua 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead.
See, it's 6 days before the Passover. Lazarus was already risen. Now they're going into the Passover. Then after this, they're going to seek to put Yahushua to death. So that was one of the great miracles that led up to him being put to death. Okay. Read the 9th verse, 9 to the 11th.
Verse 9. Much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there.
See, much people, when they came during the Passover in Bethany, they knew Yahushua was there. So they came to see who? They knew Yahushua was there, but who did they come to see? Read on.
And they came not for Yahushua's sake only,
right?
But that they might see Lazarus also.
See, they came to see Yahushua, but mainly they came, watch that. Yeah, but mainly they came to see Lazarus. You understand? Read on.
Whom he had raised from the dead.
Whom he had raised from the dead. Read the 10th verse.
But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death.
Yeah, they said, look, we're going to kill Lazarus too, man. Lazarus got to go again. We're going to kill you too, Jack. See, because the people was coming to see Lazarus. So you think Lazarus just sit there shaking hands? How you doing, bro? Shake my hand, bro. How you doing? Yeah, shalom. Embrace it. Yeah, shalom. You want some wine, want some lamb? No, Lazarus was saying, look, man, Yahushua did this, he did that. The resurrection is real. The resurrection is true. Praise Yahweh, the Father. He's not doing this by the spirit of Beelzebub. No, it came straight from the Heavenly Father because it was shown to me. Remember, I was dead.
Good.
So the people went talking to the chief priest. The chief priest said, yeah, we got to get rid of Lazarus too, man. Too much information. And he out there running his mouth about this and that, teaching. We got to get rid of this dude, man. You know, we got to get him up out of here. Yeah. So Lazarus did teach the people. At some point in time, he did put that out. You remember in the book of Luke, we're going to get it, where the rich man was like, hey, Father, Abraham, remember, this is a parable now. He said, Father, Abraham, I got a brother. No, he said, can you send Lazarus to my brother's house? Yeah. He said, I got 5 brothers.
Yes, sir. I do that.
And Abraham told him, look, man, your brothers got Moses and the prophets. So if they don't believe them, how they going to believe somebody from the dead?
Right.
So Lazarus was from the dead. Did they believe him? No. So that's what the parable was kind of going into. See, because Abraham said, hey, if somebody from the dead came and told them, they wouldn't believe them either. Because when Lazarus was risen, he was out there putting it out there. Did they believe him? No. They wanted to kill him. Okay, read on.
Verse 11. Because that by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on Yahushua.
See, because reason of him is the reason of who? Lazarus, man. The proof. Many of the Jews went and they believed what was happening. They believed that, yeah, this is the man right here. Everything that he was saying from the beginning, I see it now. I see it clearly now. See, that's what you got to do with us. You got to put a sign out there. You got to put something there for us to, okay, yeah, I know for sure now. I mean, you can give us a book, read scriptures or what have you. We still going to have it. But then when you see it, oh yeah, I see it now. Yeah, that's the man right there. That's him. Okay, let's go from there. Let's go to Luke 16 now. Sixteenth chapter. start from the 19th verse.
Luke chapter 16, verse 19. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fed sumptuously every day.
Now, starting from the 19th verse, when you read above that, or at the beginning of the 16th chapter, Yahushua is addressing who? The Pharisees. So when we go down to the 19th verse, he's still getting into the Pharisees. And he's going to speak about the resurrection, okay, because he was using some of the things that the Pharisees, you know, in their talk, in their conversation, they use this particular talk every day. Lazarus, and they use the kingdom, the resurrection, you know, this is their talk, okay, because, I mean, Yahushua is using what they know to correct them, check them, or to edify them. See, and he's going into the resurrection a little bit. Now, it wouldn't make sense for this to be directed to the Sadducees, wouldn't it? Why? They didn't believe in the resurrection. They didn't believe in angels. They didn't even believe in spirit. So he didn't, it wouldn't be right to apply this to them. So we know that this is directed to the Pharisees because the Pharisee believed in all. So Yahushua was getting at them with this story, with this parable. Because the Sadducees, it wouldn't make sense. Okay? Read the 19th verse again.
Luke chapter 16, verse 19. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fed sumptuously every day.
Every day. That's who? The Pharisees, the leaders. Dress nice, live nice. You know, you had the Israelites, the Christian, the one that believed in Yahushua, was kind of pushed out to the side. And you had a lot of them that was the poor of the people. You understand? A lot of them was getting persecuted because of Yahushua. So the uppities was looking down upon them. You know, what crumbs and all this other mess, you know, talking negative about them as well. So the Pharisees loved to be in the marketplaces, loved to sit in the nice seats, loved to be called Rabbi, Rabbi, Master, Master. Okay, love to be put out there, love to be up first. Or I'm here, I'm this and I'm that. So the rich man is a representation of them. Okay. Now read the next verse.
Verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores.
And this, the Christian Israelites and the poor of the Israelite, which is representation of Lazarus. And them sores are all types of issues and burdens and stuff. Okay. Read the 21st verse.
And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover the dogs came and licked his sores.
Now, who are the dogs? The dogs are the Gentiles. Because they are called dogs in the scriptures. King David in Psalms 22 said, dogs have compassed me, talking about the Romans. And in Yahushua called a woman a dog. So they looked at the nations as dogs. Okay, and Israel had it, if you're in the presence of another nation, you are unclean. That's how deep we were, man, you know, with these nations. So it said the dog, the Gentiles, is licking the sores of Lazarus, which is Israelites. So the nations who are the dogs, they're always around us. They're always trying to get, remember what the woman said when Yahushua called her dog? She said, Lord, can the children get the crumbs or what? They always trying to get some crumbs from the Israelites, some spiritual blessings. You be in the streets. You have the Israelite to be walking back and forth, and you may get an Edomite come up, or somebody from another nation. It really don't have to be an Edomite. It can be Hamite or Ishmael. They'll come up, and they will stand there like you trying to bring them in. And they'll stay there to the end because they're trying to get some of these crumbs. You know what I'm saying? You see that for yourself when you're out there teaching. Okay, let's go to Zechariah 8:23. Let me show you this something. Zechariah 23rd, the 8th chapter and 23rd verse.
Zechariah chapter 8 verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew,
Right.
saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that the Most High is with you.
Yeah, we want some of them crumbs. We want a little blessing. Let's go to Isaiah 14, 1 and 2.
Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They shall do what?
Cleave
They
to the
want to
house of
cleave
Jacob.
to Israel. Right? Go ahead.
And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Yeah, and even today, like I said, nations is cleaving to Israel.
Yes.
Whenever you go out to speak, they there. I mean, we can have a cookout. They way over into the corner looking. They there.
Yes.
Last week when the brothers was lined up and we was doing the cadence, Peter might cross the street like he going in his car, but he stood there until we finish.
Yeah.
He wants to know what's happening. He wants some crumbs.
Right.
He wants the spiritual blessings. See? Yeah, so they watching, they checking us out. Wherever we at, they gonna be there. Back in Paul's time, they was there. Always trying to grab a little something. You know. But Yahweh's whole purpose was to prove and to glorify the Most High. You know, some came, hey, Lord, if you just say the word, and I know my loved one, my daughter, will be healed.
Right.
Yahweh said, man, I ain't seen this much faith in Israel. Wow.
Right.
You know, the faith that they had, we should have had. See, that's what baffled Yahweh said, wow. Okay, what you got, scripture?
Yeah, I read something yesterday. First Exodus 69 and 70. 69 and 70. We was actually building the temple back up.
And they wanted to help us
They
build.
wanted to help us,
Okay,
and
go
we
ahead.
told them that. All right, so first Exodus 69. First Exodus 5 and 69.
Y'all
For
write
we
this down.
likewise-
Write down the scripture they given. That's in their pocket. That's in their
Apocrypha.
pocket.
Yeah,
You-
First
if you don't
Exodus
have one-
5:69.
If you don't have one, write it down and go into it later. Come on.
For we likewise, as you do obey your Lord, and do sacrifice unto him from the days of Asbarazza, the king of the Assyrians, who brought us here.
Oh, right.
Then
Because what happened then,
Yeah.
when the Assyrians brought the northern tribes over, what the Syrians did, they had something that was called scattering. They were scattering the Israelites into different places and then putting other nations in their area where they supposed to be. So they scattered them. They was putting nations in their land, the Israelite land. So the nation was making the Most High angry. They trying to deal with the Most High. The Most High was sending lions and everything. So what happened, I believe one of the Syrian kings or one of the priests sent the priests over there to really show them and teach them. So when they say we used to do this, that was from the teachings of the Israelites. That, you know, there's some crumbs again. They want the spiritual blessings. See, because they was being attacked by lions and everything. The Assyrians were brutal. They was putting hooks in our nose and lips and everything, man. And they would just scatter. That was their thing, called scattering. Whenever they conquered a nation, they would just spread them everywhere and then put another nation in their land. There's scattering and there's confusion. You understand? Go ahead.
verse 70. Then Zerubbabel and Jesus,
It's Zerubbabel.
huh?
It's Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel
And
and
Joshua.
Jesus, and Joshua, and the chief of the families of Israel said unto them, it is not for us and you to build together a house unto Yahweh our power.
Right. Because they always wanted to partake, but like Yahweh said, let the children first be fed.
Yeah.
Okay, let Israel get their thing together first, because we are the ambassadors of the whole world. You know, we are the ambassadors of Yahushua, the ambassadors of Christ as a nation, and we're going to be dispatched throughout the world to teach. I mean, if they're coming under as servants or what have you, they have to know right from wrong. You're not going to sit there and start skinning a monkey and go try to boil a monkey and barbecue a monkey. You're going to die. You're going to die. I mean, you have to, the ambassadors have to push law.
Yes.
Okay, and the whole world, it tells you in Zechariah that even Egypt, if they don't pay homage, they're not getting any rain. So it's not going to be, I do what I want to do. Yeah, I worship your Sabbath, but I worship the Sabbath, but I'm going to go over here and do such and such. No, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be 100, the Most High, 100, Yahushua, 100, Israel, 100, truth, 100, law. That's how it's going to be. It's not going to be half and half, 98%, 99 point such and such. It's not going to be that. Okay, come on, read there. Where were we?
Isaiah 14:1.
Oh, you finished that, right? Okay, so now getting back to the dogs and getting back to the Lazarus, like the poor of the Israelites, the Israelite Christians. Now, the apostles, when you read in the book of Acts about Stephen was stoned. I mean, he was stoned by his own, man. And the Israelites, the apostles, was being persecuted by what the rich man, the Pharisees, the leaders. See, and then after that, during the time of some of the Roman emperors, and you had Septimius Severus was a black Roman emperor. They said an African Roman emperor, so you know he's black. And then you had Diocletian was another one from, y'all write this down, Diocletian from 284 to 305 AD. Y'all go on the internet and check him out. Diocletian, Diocletian, Roman Emperor Diocletian. Huh? Yeah, Dio. You got it? Cletion. 284 to 305 AD. And there was a period where he was just killing us, throwing us to the lions, burning us, everything. And there was a period called the Great Persecution. Approximately it started around in 303 AD. I mean, y'all check that out and look it up. It may be another date to it, but look up 303 AD, which is called the Great Persecution. September Severus, that was in 193 AD. Yeah, 284 to 305. I had a picture when we was on Bushwick of September Severus. You know they're gonna have the picture looking like somebody else, but it had his information and it gave you all that information. You know, African Roman emperor, but you know he was black or Israelite, and it had the years that he ruled and what he did. You know, he was a Roman soldier and overthrew the Roman army and took it and he ruled. And a lot of the Roman soldiers came after him and began to overthrow and become Roman emperors. Okay, and there was a dynasty called the Severian dynasty from Septimius Severus, his son, and his son. So if he was black, all of them was black. See? Okay, so let's go from there. Continue to read. What did you left off at?
Luke 16, I read 21.
Read 21 again.
Luke chapter 16, verse 21. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover the dogs came and licked his sores.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried.
So it tell you that the beggar died and the beggar was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. Right. Now it said that the rich man died and he was buried. Did it tell you where the rich man went? Okay, so now schools of thoughts is saying Abraham bosom is here, and then you got a gulf separating the rich man, the wicked, and they're being tormented and burned, and the angels is holding posts, and it's a gate there. Okay, so when you read the book of Josephus, write this down. Josephus speaks about that. But I think some of the time Josephus is speaking about at the end of this age, at the end time. Okay, but Josephus did mention Abraham bosom. Now, where is Abraham bosom? Does the Bible speaks about Abraham bosom being located somewhere? Did Yahweh Shai ever mention when the righteous die, they go on Abraham bosom? Okay, read Josephus, write down the discourse to the Greeks concerning Hades. Concerning the grave or hell. Josephus. You can look that up.
Is that antiquity of the Jews or?
Mm-hmm. If you type it in, or if you have the book, look up the discourse to the Greeks concerning Hades. And Josephus goes into that. Okay, but what we're going to tap on is Abraham bosom and where the rich man is at. He's supposed to be in hell, right? Okay, like I asked earlier, where is the dead? They're in the ground. They're in the grave. Is anybody being burnt yet? When are they going to be burnt? At the end of this age, when they're gathered and separated. So if the wicked is going to be burnt at the end of this age, they ain't burning. So who in Abraham's bosom? Is there Abraham's bosom? Is somebody there? No. So when we read these other books, the apocalyptic books, the history books, we always have to go back into this book. If this book is not speaking about it, then there's writings from other authors and scholars that was back at that time that put stuff out. You understand? So you have to go back to this book to verify is the apocalyptic, I would say Enoch, Jasher, all of them. Whatever you read, you got to go right back into this book to verify. Okay? Now, let's go to John, the 5th chapter. Now, I'm not saying, I don't dictate to brothers and sisters what to read and what not to read and what you should go get and what you shouldn't for his books. But I do say this, when you go into the other books, you better be seasoning this first. And I always say, when you go into these books, don't get lost. Don't come back, hey, Ash, in the book of Enoch, such and such, can you break that down? No, I can't break it down. You give me Luke, 12th chapter, I can break that down. That's why I said, don't get lost. When you go into the books, don't get lost. Don't get all, sometimes brothers and sisters, they put this to the side and all they got is the book of Enoch or the book of Jasher. Where your Bible at? Oh, it's at home. That's all they got. So I'm just saying, don't get lost, because I don't dictate, hey, you should have that, you shouldn't have this. Okay, but as teacher, I'm just giving you that advice. Don't go too deep and don't get lost. You understand? Because I dip in them a little bit, but I don't get to the point I go so far into it, but like that's all I'm dealing with. No, I'm in this. But get this first before you start dipping into them other things, other knowledge. Because there's a lot of stuff in there speaks about things that's not even in the scriptures. And then we'll get up there and try to teach it, and then challenge you can't prove it from the book. This is our basic foundation of proving things.
Right.
This is our foundation of being protected from questions, of being protected from being, oh, you can't prove such and such. Yeah, everything I'm speaking coming out of this book, I can prove.
Right.
Okay? Now let's go to John, the 5th chapter, 28 to 29th verse.
John chapter 5, verse 28. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his
It
voice.
said, marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice. It said, all that are in Abraham's bosom, or all that are on the other side of the gulf being burnt. It said, all that are in the graves shall hear Yahushua's voice. Read on.
And shall come forth.
They shall what? Come what?
Come forth.
Read on.
They that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
Damnation. Now read the 29th verse again.
And shall come forth.
Where they coming from?
Great.
They come from the graves. They ain't coming from the other side or Abraham's bosom. They coming from what? The graves. Okay. Let's go from there. Let's go to Matthew 13. Matthew 13th chapter, 37 to 43.
Matthew chapter 13, verse, you said 37?
Yeah, 37.
37. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed in the Son of Man.
He's breaking down the parable of the tares. Okay, read on.
The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
Right, read on.
The enemy that sows them is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels.
Read.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world.
It said the wicked are the tares.
Yes.
And the tares, they the wicked, they shall be gathered and burned in the fire. When? So shall it be at the end of this world. So ain't nobody in hell burning now. Ain't nobody burning now. Everybody's in their graves. Ain't nobody burning. Okay, until the end of the world. Okay, now read on.
Verse 41. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
Now it said that the Son of Man shall send forth who?
Angels.
So who's going to do together?
The angel.
The angels. And where they going to gather from? Throughout the kingdom and separate. They're not going to go to Abraham's bosom or to the other side or go down in hell and so forth. No, they ain't got to go down there. The people are going to come up. Read on.
And them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Just like what the rich man was doing. When he was talking to Abraham in the parable, what was he doing? Wailing and gnashing of teeth. Can you please do this? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you please help me? Can you please tell Lazarus to send some cool water down here? And he's burning up. But he got a tongue, he's talking, he got eyes, he can see. He got a whole body burning up. So this is a parable. That ain't no real life story. And Lazarus is kicking it with him. Abraham is kicking it to him too. Okay, read on.
Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man have found, he hideth.
Read the 43rd verse again. I kind of missed something.
Verse 43, Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear.
Let them hear. Now let's go back to Luke. I think I kind of missed something. Luke the 16th chapter. We didn't finish that, did we? Okay. Okay, read 23. Now we back in Luke the 16th chapter, then we're going to go back into the other scriptures. Kind of hit me. I know I didn't finish that. Read on.
Luke 16, verse 23. And in hell he lift up his eyes.
And in hell. I mean, you go to church, You're going to burn in hell. You a sinner. They be the main one. You a sinner. And all types of mess is going on in the religious world.
Madness.
All types of madness.
Right.
You know, but you going to hell. You're going to burn. And they talk about at the moment of death. You going to burn. I mean, if you're going to burn at the moment of death, and then you come back when the scripture speaks about a second death, and you already burned, so how are you going to be burning the second death? Go ahead and read.
And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue. For I am tormented in this flame.
This flame. Let's go to John 1:18.
John.
I mean, but look, we are in the bosom of Abraham. Aren't we connected to Father Abraham?
Yes.
I mean, we do what Abraham wanted us to do, not like the Pharisees. The Pharisees was operating under the influence of Satan. Isn't Yahushua connected to the Most High? So the scripture's going to tell you Yahushua is in the Most High's bosom. Okay, go ahead and read.
John chapter 1 verse 18. No man has seen the Most High at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him.
Right. The Father is in the bosom. I mean, Yahushua is in the bosom of the Father. Let's go to Genesis 3:19. Genesis 3:19.
Genesis chapter 3 verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread,
Most High is talking to Adam. Read on.
till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
So where is he going?
To dust.
He going to Abraham's bosom, or he going to the other side, or he going to the ground? He going to turn to what?
To dust.
Ashes, or he's going to turn to dust? Okay, because he's going in the ground. He's going to the grave. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's go back to Luke 16. 25th verse.
Luke chapter 16 verse 25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thou good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
Read on.
And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot.
Cannot. Read on.
Neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
Now let's go from there. Let's go to Revelation 22 and 11. Because that gulf is right here on earth, because the wicked is going to be the wicked. The righteous one that the Most High want, they going to come through. But some of the wicked, they just going to be wicked. You can't help them. You teach them, they don't do what they want to do. They going to be wicked. That's what the scriptures say. You unjust, continue to be unjust. 22 and 11.
Revelation chapter 22 verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still.
He that is unjust, that's in the 22nd chapter of Revelation. The last chapter of the last book. So out of everything that we've read from Genesis on, all the breakdowns, all the history, all the scriptures, the scripture said, let the unjust continue to be unjust. Read on.
And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Filthy will continue to be filthy. Read on.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still.
Doing the right thing, continue to do it. Read on.
And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
If you're true to it, continue to be true. Okay, let's go back to Luke 16. The 27th verse.
Luke chapter 16 verse 27. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house.
What he said, send Lazarus to his father's house. Read on.
For I have 5 brethren,
I got 5 brothers. Read on.
that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
Now, didn't Lazarus in the book of John testify when Yahushua raised him from the dead? And the people came to see Lazarus. So yeah, he testified. He went to them. He went out there. At a certain point of time, he was pushing resurrection and teaching about Yahushua and the Most High. So they heard him. So a man from the dead was sent. You understand? Now, when the scriptures say, 28th verse, for I have 5 brethren, send Lazarus to my 5 brethren. So he's talking about the Israelites. He's talking about the 5 political and revolutionary groups that was in Israel running things at that time. You had the Pharisees, that's one. You had the Sadducees. You had the Essenes. You had the Herodians. That's the ones that was working for the Herods. It was that 4. And you had the scribes. So he says, send Lazarus to them. That's his 5 brothers. But Abraham told him what? Read on.
Verse 29. Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them.
Abraham said, look, they have Moses. They have the prophets. Let them hear them. Let them read what the prophets say. Let them read the laws, because they was doctors of law. The scribes, Pharisees, Sadducees. Let them read in the Old Testament prophecies concerning me, or concerning Yahushua. Let them read. They got Moses. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent.
No, they wouldn't, because Lazarus was from the dead in the book of John. And he testified. They didn't repent. What did they want to do to Lazarus in the 12th chapter? They wanted to kill him. Kill him again. And they wanted to get Yahushua out the way first, and then kill Lazarus, so we know Yahushua ain't around to bring you back. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
And that's true. If you're not going to listen to the book, Moses, the prophets, one from the dead is not going to change you. See, one from the dead is not going to persuade you to believe in Yahushua. You got to go into the book. You got to be convinced and persuaded in your own mind. See, that means all of us sitting in here, we have to be persuaded in our own mind. I mean, teachers can teach to a certain level that, okay, yeah, I see. But for as the law, and for as you living this, and for as you taking this in your everyday life, and really believing unto the depth of it, you have to be persuaded in your own mind. Okay, how to deal with your families, how to maneuver on your jobs, how to operate out there in the streets and so forth. You got to be persuaded in your own mind on knowing how to utilize these scriptures to perfection when you come across certain situations. You know, we don't act like we used to act when we come across certain situations. Some of us might dip back into that old man. But you got to act as the new creature. Okay, come on, read. Let's go back. Let's go to Matthew's 25. We finished Matthew's 13, 37, 43. Let's go to Matthew's 25 and start from 31. Then we're going to get ready to wrap it up.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 31.
31.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another.
Now, when are the nations is going to be gathered together? When Yahushua is sitting on the throne of his glory. And when you read on down, they're going to separate them and they're going to cast the wicked into the fire. So they're not going to be put in the fire at the moment of death. when Yahushua is sitting on the throne of his glory. And when he separates, and when they're judged, when they're given a fair trial, then they're going to be cast. Then they're going to understand why they being cast.
Yeah.
They're not going to throw chairs at Yahushua like they do in the court system today. They're not going to cuss him out. They're not going to try to put a hit on him by paying somebody to kill him. They ain't going to do that. They're going to agree with him. You're right, Lord. Where that fire at? You're right. You're right over there. He's going to deal with them. They're not going to go against it. Right. Read on.
Verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Right.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
Read the 41st verse.
Verse 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
And that's part of the judgment. When the books is going to be open, this is part of that. After the sentence is read, after their history, the records are read, then depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. He's going to explain all that to them. I mean, you're going to get a fair trial. So it wouldn't make sense for the people to be burning now. They haven't had a trial yet. Yahushua hadn't really, their issue haven't been dealt with yet. So they burning already. There can be complaints or where the Bible is such and such, the Lord is not just, they burning and they didn't even get it. No, that's going to be at the end of this age. Read on. Read the 46th verse.
Verse 46. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
Life eternal. Let's go to Revelation 21 and 8. Revelation 21 and 8.
Revelations chapter 21 verse 8.
Right?
But be fearful and unbelieve, but the fearful, and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Now they murderers and liars and unbelieving today. In the moment of death, they in hell burning. Now they coming back to face the second death. That means that they weren't burnt already.
Right.
See, the second death is coming after the 1,000-year rule.
Right.
See, that's when they're going to be judged and so forth. Okay, so they're not burning now. Because if they burning now, then it's not going to be burnt at the end of this age. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go from there. Let's go to Revelation 20. Going across the page. 20, 11 to 15.
Revelations chapter 20 verse 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High, and the books were open.
You say, and the books were open. Books with an S. More than one book. About everything that you did. What's going on. All about you. The history of you. When you was in the making. When you was born. Things that you did throughout your life. All the books is there. The history of the popes. The history of the Roman emperors. Is right there. Books is open. Going to be judged out of the books with an S. So it's not 2 books. Not 3 books. You got your book. There's a record of you. A record of me. A record of this brother, this sister. Books with an S. Okay. Read on.
And another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Now that one book, you want to be in that one book. The book of life. Read on.
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the book.
See, were they judged out of those things that was written in the book? No, in the books. Okay, read on.
According to their works.
According to what?
Their works.
Going back to the works. Let's go to Matthew 12:36. Then we coming back to that Revelation. I'll tell you what. I'm sorry. Finish reading Revelation. Read the 13th verse.
Verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works.
Whether it's death through sea, grave, wherever, coming back. You have to stand before our Maker. You all will meet him one day. Yeah, one day. Read on.
And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
Read on. 15.
And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Let's go to Matthew 12:36. Matthew 12:36.
Matthew chapter 12 verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
So nothing goes out that's not going to be checked. Every word, you got to answer to it. Whether we said we don't believe in Yahweh Shai or we this and that, or it's written in the books. Every idle word, every word. Okay? And with that, brothers and sisters, that's the end of the class.
Shalom.